On our wedding anniversary, I received a video from an unknown number. A woman sat half naked on my husband. David, today's your 5th wedding anniversary. Aren't you going back? She's just a drab wife. I'm long tired of her. Why would I celebrate an anniversary? After scoffing, David impatiently grabbed her head and kissed her. The phone rang, and then many text messages arrived. The earliest entries were from this past January, if I remembered correctly. That was the day of my miscarriage. This morning, David was preparing breakfast for me in the kitchen. Watching him busy in his apron, a wave of warmth washed over me. Hearing movement, David turned back, rubbing my head. Why aren't you sleeping more? Your cooking smells pulled me out, he asked with anticipation. Do you remember what day today is? I looked up at him, my eyes showing a hint of confusion. He pursed his lips, looking down at me. His usually stern face tinged with a touch of hurt. Just kidding. How could I forget our 5th wedding anniversary? He smiled, wrapping his arms tightly around me, whispering sensually in my ear. Wait for me tonight then, let's celebrate properly. I waited for him like a fool. The steak reheated multiple times. What I got instead was a video of his betrayal and a text message saying he was working late. The earliest entries were from the day of my miscarriage this year. That day, I fainted while walking down the street. When I woke up, I was in the City General Hospital. The doctor said I had lost the baby. This was the result of David and I trying IVF over 10 times, and still, the baby was gone. When David rushed over after hearing the news, I was sitting numbly by the bedside, tears streaming down my face. His eyes were red-rimmed. He gently pulled me into his embrace, his warm fingertips brushing my cheek. Don't cry, okay? Your health is what's most important. We don't have to have children. I shook my head. Let's try IVF again. We'll succeed eventually. You're going through too much. It breaks my heart to see you suffer. He cupped my face, gently kissing away the tears on my cheeks. If you really want children, we can adopt. Hearing this, I was deeply moved and hugged his waist. Just then, his phone vibrated. I reached for it instinctively to look, but David snatched it away. He rubbed my head and said that after a miscarriage, I needed to take care of my body and shouldn't look at electronic devices because the radiation was too strong. I nodded, thinking he was genuinely concerned, and didn't pay much attention. He said the company needed to hold an urgent shareholder meeting and that H'd come back to be with me as soon as he was done, but he left and never returned. Now, seeing those text messages from that day, I just feel like an idiot. It's all your fault. I'm pregnant. Where are you now? At City General Hospital. I'm going to get an abortion. If my mother finds out without me being married, she'll kill me. Don't get an abortion. I'll take responsibility. It turned out that day, both she and I were at the City General Hospital. I was enduring the pain of losing my child, while just a wall away, he was happy about another woman's pregnancy. All this time, I had never suspected he would cheat. After college, my parents sent me abroad for graduate school. That was the only time we ever argued. I thought a year would go by quickly. But David didn't want a long-distance relationship. In a fit of pique, I left without telling him goodbye. When he found out I had gone abroad, he immediately flew over. When he landed, the airport roads were blocked by heavy snow, and he walked all the way to the university. David's knees and lumbar spine had required surgery after a car accident years ago. He had shielded me during the crash, taking severe injuries himself. Walking that long distance in the heavy snow must have been incredibly painful. Seeing him covered in snow, I felt both heartache and profound emotion. I took his hands, which were purple from the cold, and tears flowed uncontrollably. Couldn't you have found a hotel first? Why were you so foolish? I missed you too much. He suddenly swept me into a soft embrace. Will you marry me? Even if we ever divorced, we'd have to go to the county clerk's office together. That way, I won't be afraid of losing you. A wave of indescribable tenderness swelled in my heart. Okay. Let the untouched snow bear witness. My love for Olivia will last until death. We were married for 5 years and never fought. Even when he knew my inability to get pregnant was the issue, he never blamed me. Instead, he became more cautious, never bringing up the topic of children. Later, I suggested IVF, and after much persuasion, he finally agreed to go to the doctor with me. Initially, he was against it, afraid I would suffer too much from the IVF treatments. He said if we couldn't have kids, we wouldn't. Being child-free was cool, and we could enjoy our time together forever. He said he loved me, Olivia, not a child I would bear, and it was always only because it was me. At the time, I felt incredibly lucky to have married this man. During the IVF process, his eyes held nothing but immense tenderness for me. I silently resolved that since he loved children so much, I would give him one no matter what and be good to him for life. But when I saw those text messages, my heart went cold. It all felt so ironic. Looking at the date, it was the night I had the miscarriage. At that very moment, he was right there, taking meticulous care of me. It makes me sick thinking about you two together. You have to divorce her, David replied. Once you have the baby, I'll divorce her. She can't even have a child after IVF and makes me drink those herbal supplements that make her smell weird. She's got me acting like a stud horse every day just to get pregnant. I'm so annoyed whenever I see her now. I'm not even interested in anything when we're together. A sharp pain twisted in my chest, like falling into an ice cave, cold from head to toe. Since we started IVF, he was the one who said we should be prepared on both fronts. He quit smoking and drinking, and voluntarily started taking herbal supplements to be ready. He even pestered me daily, saying that maybe if we did it more often, I'd get pregnant naturally. I couldn't imagine how David could send messages like that and then turn around and fake such love for me. Remembering the things he said and our intimate moments, I felt only disgust, a sickening sense of humiliation. But what he didn't know was that I wasn't the one who couldn't have children. 2 years into our marriage, he suggested having a child. I liked the idea of a soft, cuddly little one too, but after a year of trying, nothing happened. I dragged David to the doctor for tests. The results showed David had azoospermia. He was embarrassed to go in the first place, so I lied and told him I had blocked fallopian tubes and that he was fine. The phone call rang suddenly. It was David, honey. Something came up urgently at the company. I can't get away. Don't wait for me. You should rest. I'll make up the anniversary celebration later. His voice was a bit hoarse. I didn't dare dwell on how many times he might have called me in that kind of situation. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. Why do you sound so out of breath? There was a pause on the other end before he explained, it's a bit cold out. I might have caught a cold. I suppressed my nausea, told him to take care, and hung up. Just then, my best friend's profile picture, which looked almost exactly like mine, started flashing again. Olivia, I'm pregnant with David's child. He's too embarrassed to divorce you. You can't have children. And your family is so rich. You should just leave with nothing. At that moment, I felt a chill run through me. My best friend, whom I had desperately pulled out of a swamp of despair, was now betraying me with my own husband. Megan and I met in middle school, when school started. Megan and I didn't interact much. She was always alone, spoke cautiously, dressed plainly, and her fair skin often showed bruises. She told classmates she had fallen, and while I had my doubts, I didn't ask more, respecting her boundaries, until one day, on my way home from school, I passed an alley where loud shouting and beating sounds came from. I looked and saw Megan, curled up on the ground, her forehead bleeding from being hit, the blood running down her face and staining the snow. Her father was kicking and hitting her with a bottle, cursing, "Worthless girl, just like your useless mother. You're a born lowlife." I quickly ran over to stop him, pulling out my phone and saying I had called the police. Only then did he flee in a panic. It turned out her father was a drunkard and gambler. Not long after Megan was born, her mother left due to domestic abuse, and Megan was always covered in bruises. I took Megan to the city general hospital to bandage her wound. With tears in her eyes, she told me she wanted to stay with me. Her father would kill her if she went home. My parents heard her story and felt sorry for her. They took her in like a daughter, not only letting her live with us but also paying for her education. After that, we were inseparable, the best of friends. Whatever I bought two of. If I had something, she definitely had it too. After high school, her grades weren't even good enough for community college. She said she wanted to go to a private community college in New York that had a slightly lower admission standard, but the tuition fees alone would be over 200,000 yuan for 3 years. She looked pitiful yet tried to appear strong, saying, "I'll definitely repay you tenfold, even 100-fold. You're my only family now." My parents felt for her and, without hesitation, covered her tuition fees and living expenses. Who would have thought that the best friend who seemed so grateful at the time would turn out to be an ungrateful wretch? Last year, she came to me again, complained tearfully, asking me to arrange a job for her. She said she had chosen the wrong major and couldn't find employment easily. After David and I got married, we started a business and founded our own company. It's doing pretty well now. And David even gained the reputation of a rising star in the business world. At the time, I was trying to get pregnant, so I let Megan take over my work. I even prepared a 2-bedroom apartment near the company for her, one we didn't usually live in. I didn't expect to be inviting a snake into the house. I knew David wouldn't divorce me, at least not yet, while he hadn't established himself yet, without my father's business connections. The company wouldn't be able to operate normally, no matter how good the company's products were. He wouldn't even get his foot in the door of industry leader companies. It would all be for nothing. But Megan, not knowing the full story, came to provoke me, even trying to steal my position. Everything she had was never hers to begin with. If I could pull you out of the mud, I can also push you back in. David returned the next morning, still incredibly attentive to me. The love in his eyes was so convincing it was hard to distinguish from genuine affection. Looking at the bedroom layout, a hint of guilt flickered across his face. He quickly walked over, about to lean into me, his hot breath on my forehead. He mumbled, "I'm sorry, I was too busy yesterday. Can I make it up to you tonight? Look, I've already booked a restaurant." Knowing that some things, once missed, can never be recovered, I subtly pushed him away. "Why do you smell of perfume scent?" He froze for a moment, then quickly recovered, casually lifting his sleeves to sniff them. "Do I? Maybe I rubbed against someone who had cologne on at the meeting yesterday." I'll go shower. I had never been in the habit of checking his phone before, so he never worried about it. He always left it carelessly on the coffee table. Listening to the usual sound of the water running in the bathroom, I couldn't resist picking up the phone H left on the coffee table. I went straight to his text messages with Megan. The last message was from 10 minutes ago. "I miss you already. Maybe I should come over?" David replied affectionately, "Be a good girl and stay at the office. It'll be over this afternoon. How about I talk to Olivia and just move into your place? It would be so thrilling with her in the bedroom and us in the guest room." David replied with a doting, helpless emoji. He replied, "What if Olivia finds out? It's too risky with you being pregnant." Looking at these disgusting text messages, my vision swam. I had originally planned to get revenge on Megan, to not mention divorce and personally crush her delusions, which would have been quite satisfying. But after seeing these messages, I couldn't stand it anymore. Hearing the bathroom door open, I blurted out, "Let's get a divorce." David looked surprised, then incredulously questioned, Divorce?" Then, as if something suddenly occurred to him, he thought I was just being dramatic. "Is this because I didn't spend our anniversary with you last night? Stop messing around. I was working yesterday." He turned to me, looking somewhat helpless. Hearing that, I almost laughed from anger. I picked up his phone and threw it at him. Working on Megan's bed? I felt him freeze. His face paled slightly. He tightly pursed his lips, seemingly speechless. "Honey, Hearing that address, I couldn't help but cut him off. "Don't call me honey, it makes me sick." When David heard this, his eyes reddened slightly. He rushed to my side to explain, "Honey, I was wrong. I didn't mean those things I said. I was just stringing her along, wanting her to have a child. You like kids too, don't you? Once she has the baby, I'll cut all ties with her." Looking at the man in front of me, he suddenly felt like a stranger, even terrifying. Maybe I had never truly seen him. "You don't need to explain to me. From the moment she got pregnant, there's no future for us." I forcefully pulled away from his hands and stepped back, seeing my actions. His tone became a little impatient. "Does it have to come to this? Is it wrong for me to want a child of my own? You're the one I've always loved." I calmly shook my head. "You've truly disappointed me. You're not wrong. I'm for being unable to bear your love. But you two, scumbag and the hussy, are actually quite a match. I wish you a house full of children and grandchildren." David's expression turned cold, his tone showing a hint of displeasure. "Do you have to put it so harshly? Isn't it the truth? I'll draft the divorce agreement tomorrow and send it to you." His hands clenched, knuckles white. "Divorce? Not a chance." I smiled. "If you want Megan's baby to be safe, you'd better agree." I knew the child was his weakness, and it was also a mockery of me. As he fell silent, I turned and walked away. There was still one person I needed to deal with. Sometimes a woman's intuition can sense when things are wrong between two people, and I could even feel a sense of hostility from Megan towards me. I remember not long after my miscarriage, Megan came to me and suggested we go somewhere to relax. David said he was worried about me and wanted to come along, and so, the three of us went to a suburban resort together. By the time we reached the campsite, it was late. We quickly set up and planned to rest and enjoy ourselves the next day. I saw the two tents David had set up and foolishly asked, "Why so far apart?" Megan might be scared being a girl alone. Megan looked at David and smiled shyly. "It's fine. There are no wild animals here. They won't eat me." David responded, "Exactly. It's not good for a girl to stay right next to us." Seeing them both decline, I didn't say anything more. In the middle of the night, I heard the sound of a tent zipper and saw David crawl out through the opening with a flashlight. Having been in the car all day, I was exhausted and drifted back to sleep. In my dream, I felt someone moving around. Sunlight streamed in through the top of the tent. Before I was fully awake, I was being kissed senseless, and a few buttons on my pajamas had been undone. I pushed David's head. "Get up, it's getting late. Megan will be here soon." David looked up at me with those charming, pleading eyes. "What are you afraid of?" "We're married," I smiled, amused. "Oh, right. Where did you go last night?" Hearing my question, he visibly froze, then got up and replied, "I had a stomachache and went to the restroom last night. I'm fine now. Hurry up, we're going fishing." "Olivia, are you up?" I heard Megan call from outside. I quickly went out. She was wearing a blue V-neck sweater today. There was a large red mark on her fair skin. I looked at her gossiping. "Confess, what were you up to yesterday?" Megan blushed, covering the spot symbolically. "It must have been a mosquito bite." I pointed to the mountains full of red leaves. "In the fall? Mosquitoes? Tell me, who was the wild man?" David quickly pulled me aside. "Oh, come on. It's embarrassing for a girl. Megan tells me first if she has a boyfriend." Everything was going fine. On the way back, a tire suddenly blew out. The car swerved towards the riverbank, looking like it was about to plunge in. Megan and I both screamed. David, from the driver's seat, reached across me in the passenger seat and hugged Megan in the back. At that moment, I didn't have time to think. The passenger side mirror had hit the ground and shattered. I gripped the handle tightly, my body losing balance. The car flipped onto its side, sliding for a distance, and slammed violently into a large rock. The car window scraped against the ground, sending glass shards flying onto my face. When I came to, I saw David still holding Megan. Perhaps feeling my gaze, he quickly pulled back. "Honey, are you okay?" Seeing the blood pouring from my cheek, he carried me to a nearby clinic. He kept explaining, "Honey, I was just worried about her coming out with us. If something happened, we'd be responsible." Thinking back on it, I sighed heavily. Out of years of friendship, I hadn't had any defenses or suspicions against them. Unknowingly, I had been thoroughly cheated on. Soon, I reached the company entrance and saw Megan holding a bouquet of roses, surrounded by a few young interns chattering excitedly. "Megan, you got flowers again. Is it from a boyfriend or an admirer this time?" My best friend joked helplessly. "You guys aren't working, just teasing me." A new intern looked on enviously. "You and the boss's wife are so lucky. You both found rich and successful guys." My best friend gave a wry smile, mocking herself. "How am I as lucky as the boss's wife? She can't even have children, but she's still doing so well. Unlike me, stuck here working like a dog for someone else." An intern blurted out, "Huh? She's like a hen that can't lay eggs?" My best friend's eyes held a hint of resentment. "Even a hen that can't lay eggs is luckier than me." I stood at the entrance, listening numbly to all of this. A wave of coldness washed over me. I thought she had only blessings for me, but now it was clear it was naked jealousy, until one of the girls quickly stopped them. "The boss's wife is here." The office instantly fell silent. They all awkwardly returned to their desks. Megan saw me, her shock quickly replaced by a fawning smile. "Olivia, you didn't say you were coming." I looked at her without emotion. "Why? Do I need to report to you when I come to my own company?" "No, I mean I would have come down to meet you." I used all my strength and slapped her. "You're pregnant with my husband's child. How dare I trouble you to come down?" That sentence was like throwing a stone into a calm lake. The harmonious atmosphere instantly became chaotic. Megan is a mistress? How disgusting. But she and the boss's wife were best friends, weren't they? Yeah. She came in right after the boss's wife back then. Megan probably didn't expect me to confront her directly. She clutched her bleeding mouth, hearing the whispers, and quickly denied. It wasn't intentional. David was drunk that night. It was him. Looking at her feigning innocence act, I couldn't help but raise my hand and slap her again. This was the face that had deceived me and my family. I had confided all my stress and pain from my VF to her. At that time, was she mocking me or excited? "Since you're so wronged, then get an abortion. Get out of the company and out of my house. I never want to see you again. Megan quickly grabbed my sleeve. Helpless and fragile Olivia. The baby is innocent. If you kick me out, it'll be sleeping on the street. What does that have to do with me? You were always a rat in the gutter. It's because I, Olivia, was mistaken that you had a chance to stand here looking presentable. Megan suddenly turned hostile, finally revealing her true colors. Olivia, what do you mean? I've been your sidekick for so many years. Just because you can't have children, you want to kick me out now that I'm pregnant? I could hardly believe my ears. How could someone be so shameless? Sidekick? You call my kindness a sidekick role? You're carrying my husband's child. Should I be thanking you on my knees? She showed no guilt, instead questioning me. Your family is so wealthy, you could find any man. Since you're so good to me, why not let me have David? You wouldn't want to either, would you? It's ridiculous. You're rich and pampered by your parents. Why would you be good to me? Isn't it just that my presence made you feel more superior? I hate you. I'm jealous of you. Whenever I was with you, they only saw you, so I had to get away from you. I went to another city. I fought tooth and nail to climb up, but those old men. Why do you get to be glamorous while my life is bleak and meaningless? I was momentarily stunned. Even a dog knows how to begging or pleading to its owner, but in her, I only saw the ugliness of human nature. I was too lazy to explain. People like her would never understand. I held her bleeding jaw with a blank expression. You can think whatever you want. I just do what I believe is right. Don't act so pure. Just wait and see. You'll come crawling back to me. With that, 2 lines of tears streamed down her face. I was still taken aback by the sudden tears when I heard a familiar roar from behind me. Olivia, let go. David walked directly to Megan, wiped the blood from her mouth, and gently touched her belly. Are you okay? Megan looked at me tearfully and shook her head. David looked at me. His eyes filled with reproach. How long are you going to keep this up? Me? I'm dealing with a mistress in my own company. What business is it of yours? If you don't agree to the divorce, I can cripple her and afford to pay. Olivia, you. He looked at me like I was a stranger. I stepped past him, walked up to Megan, and smiled. Don't give me that feigning innocence look. If you've got the guts, sue me, stir up such a scandal over to slaps, and let's see how long this startup company lasts. If you don't want your dream of being a rich wife to shatter before it even begins, then just suck it up. David looked down at me. This company is our shared effort. How can you say something like that? I looked numbly at him, protecting Megan, scoffing. Shared effort? Did you think about that when you were betraying me with her? Doesn't saying this now seem ridiculous? Oh, right. Remember to meet me at the county clerk's office tomorrow morning. Before David could speak, Megan's voice cut in. Since you're getting a divorce, shouldn't we talk about how to divide the assets? David looked at me, seeming to want to say something but feeling embarrassed. I smiled. David is the one at fault, so he should leave with nothing. Megan said awkwardly. How can he be at fault? You were the one who couldn't have children first. Besides, we'll have significant expenses once the baby is born. You have such rich parents. You should just leave everything to us. Seeing David's silence, it seemed he agreed. I pointed at him and said, leaving with nothing is impossible. The house and car were bought by my parents before we got married. You have 2 days to move out. The company is 50-50. You can have the money or the company, whichever you prefer. We definitely want the company. Megan quickly blurted out before David could stop her. Fine. Don't forget tomorrow morning. With that, I turned and left. Megan was foolish, thinking that by taking the company, money would flow into her pockets endlessly. David was still struggling with how to choose. I could have left him with nothing, but giving them hope only to slowly crush it felt much more satisfying. The next day dawned bright and clear. Strangely, stepping out after getting the divorce papers with him, I felt a sense of relief. David walked beside me and unexpectedly put his arm around my shoulder. Honey, believe me, once she has the baby, it'll come back to you. I frowned and shrugged off his grip. Am I seriously ill? Do you think I can't live without you? He continued to cling. But I love you. Have you forgotten all those beautiful memories we shared? Let's not bring up the past. It just reminds me of disgusting things I shouldn't think about. His gaze darkened. He forcibly turned my shoulders. I'll prove it to you later. I've always loved you. Saying this, he leaned in to kiss me. I couldn't break free. I instinctively raised my hand to slap him but couldn't get enough leverage. I could only grab the back of his head by his hair. David, we're divorced now. If you keep this up, I'll report you for harassment. Hearing David wince, his eyes slowly turned red. I couldn't help but think of crocodile tears. Just then, a shout came from behind, "Let go of my son." Looking closely, it was David's mother, my mother-in-law, rushing towards us with Megan. She forcefully shoved me, and David quickly steadied me. David's mother was still out of breath. Seeing the divorce papers, her face instantly darkened. "The divorce is done, fine, but the assets must be divided again." I hadn't even settled the score for her shoving me, and now she was righteously pointing and yelling at me. "You sit at home all day, while my son works tirelessly to provide for you. A hen that can't lay eggs has the nerve to ask for assets. Have you no shame?" Instantly, the people on the street were drawn to the piercing shouts. David tried to stop her, but couldn't. He stood there, face black, whispering something reproachful to Megan. I was wondering how the media would find out about this, and here they were, delivered right to me. I hadn't expected my mother-in-law to be so vicious. She had been so obedient to me before, and extremely flattering to my parents. Now I realized she was just after my family's wealth. Last year, she had a stroke and was bedridden. She refused to hire a nurse, so I had no choice but to step back from managing the company and take care of her, helping her with everything. Now she was turning her back on me completely. I only have myself to blame for being blind and not seeing through this family, who says I can't be loud. I rolled up my sleeves. I'm not as shameless as you are, am I? Enjoying my care, living in my family's house, my father's resources being used by your son, and you still have the nerve to yap here? If I were you, I'd be too embarrassed to show my face. David's mother raised her hand to hit me. I grabbed her forearm and yanked. She stumbled and fell to the ground, beating her legs with her hands, her voice becoming sharp and piercing. "You ill-bred brat, completely disrespectful, a junior daring to hit an elder who's just scolding her. I don't care, the assets must be divided again." My ex-mother-in-law was truly an eye-opener. "Your son and I are divorced. Whose elder are you? What right do you have to scold me?" My ex-mother-in-law was so angry she nearly fainted. Megan immediately helped her up and said, "Olivia, Mrs. David's mother's last name is Old. Can't you say less?" Seeing Megan's overly dramatic act, I couldn't tolerate it. "Who do you think you are? A mistress has the nerve to lecture me?" Suddenly, Megan began her Oscar-worthy performance. Her eyes filled with tears, looking like she wanted to speak but couldn't. My ex-mother-in-law patted her hand comfortingly. "She's the good daughter-in-law in my heart. Maybe she can give me a healthy heir, unlike you. Useless, taking up space and preventing what matters. You should learn from her." It was truly infuriating. I took out David's medical report showing his infertility and threw it in her face. "Take a good look. Don't end up raising someone else's grandchild, learning how to put a snake in the grass on your son." The three of them looked at the medical report, their faces turning red and pale in turns. They said in unison, "Impossible." The crowd that had gathered now understood what was happening. A young woman shouted loudly, "Mum, your daughter-in-law is well behaved. If it were me, I would have fought you already." Others chimed in seriously, "Aren't you embarrassed? Coming out here with the mistress, acting so righteous. This girl is truly pitiful." Watching this scene, I felt incredibly satisfied. After saying my piece, I left. I had no desire to continue arguing with them, but David suddenly grabbed my arm, squeezing my wrist tightly. "Are you done? Explain yourself. What does this mean?" he demanded loudly. I forcefully pulled my hand away. "Are you crazy? Can't you read the medical report? Why did you lie to me?" I sneered. "Because I was blind." Leaving David standing there stunned, I walked away angry, regretful. Good. That afternoon, the drama began. Videos went viral online. Seeing the situation escalate, David's company team began to handle the PR. Megan also posted a video statement, looking pale and tearful. "I'm a victim too. They, the couple, threatened me into surrogacy, saying they would break my father's legs if I didn't. I had no choice but." It seemed Megan had fallen out with the David family. She even dragged her drunkard father into it. "They're the ones who abducted my daughter when she was in middle school. I haven't seen her in years. They're truly awful people." After saying this, both of them wiped away tears. At the end of the video, they asked for donations from netizens. Watching the video, my blood boiled. All these years, Megan had deliberately avoided her father, and now she was completely twisting the truth. Looking at the comments, a portion of the public opinion had indeed been swayed. Such touching parental love. The father had to drink to numb the pain of searching for his daughter. How naive are you above? Didn't you see the afternoon video? The wife is the real victim. Surrogacy is so sad. Maybe they couldn't agree on terms in the end, and the man fell for the surrogate. Now everything was ready. All I needed was to influence the shareholders. I collected their cheating text messages and the videos Megan had sent me. Although you couldn't see their full faces, which meant they weren't legal evidence, she probably only considered that. She didn't expect I would post them online. Netizens aren't fools. Their voices and body types were enough to identify them. Years ago, my father, fearing Megan's father would harass us, installed surveillance cameras everywhere at home and never deleted the recordings. I found the conversation where Megan said she didn't want to see her father. I spent 5 hours organizing everything, combining images and texts in just a few minutes. The narrative changed direction. Megan was swarmed by social media influencers and reporters chasing clicks the moment she left her door. Ms. Megan, could you please talk about your feelings regarding cheating with your best friend's husband? Do you feel guilty now? How can you collect donations with a clear conscience? Megan was too scared to even leave the house. David's company's new product launch event was deserted. To survive, he had to take on debt for RD, facing a debt crisis, which led to his stock price plummeted. That day, I came home and saw a drunken man standing at the doorstep, getting closer. I saw David looking gaunt, his eyes bloodshot, his clothes wrinkled. He had lost a lot of weight and looked incredibly pathetic. When he saw me, he staggered towards me. His voice was hoarse, and he spoke cautiously. Honey, I missed you so much. He made to hug me, but I put up a hand to stop him. We're divorced now. Don't bother me anymore. His eyes were red-rimmed, his voice low and hoarse. Olivia, I'm going crazy missing you. Even when I sleep, I dream of you. I shook my head gently. Late affection is cheaper than weeds. Don't you think it's too late to say all this? He grabbed my hand. No, it's not. I know I disappointed you before, but I've broken up with Megan. You're the one I love most. You're so kind. You'll forgive me, right? No, my refusal was clean and absolute. He swayed, reaching out and gripping my shoulders, saying repeatedly, no, that's not true. You still love me. If you're willing, we can start over. It'll be better. I said softly to him, David, maybe what you felt for me wasn't love, it was using me. Using my family background to help your career. David became agitated. You're so cruel. All those beautiful memories we shared, are you going to deny them all? It's precisely those memories that make me understand clearly that there's no future for us. If you ever remembered even a little bit of them, you wouldn't have betrayed me. He was trembling all over, his voice choked with emotion, unable to speak the words. He reached out to hug me. I stepped back. When I loved, I gave my all. Since we've chosen to leave, let's do it with dignity. I don't believe it. 9 years of feelings, and you say you've forgotten them? A self-mocking smile played on my lips. When your heart is broken enough, you naturally forget. He looked like he was crying and laughing at the same time, despair in his eyes. Can't you give me another chance? No. David watched her retreating back, filled with regret, recalling everything before. He felt only increasing, unbearable pain. The New Year's Eve countdown was about to begin, and I was traveling, welcoming the future, sitting on a cross-country train trip. I saw the news report about David's bankruptcy. Pinned among the comments was a news headline. Megan's surname has been arrested by the police for gambling. She sold her daughter for 3,000 yuan to Myanmar. Her whereabouts are now missing. The police are conducting a full search and rescue operation. The woman in the photo was pixelated, but looking at her silhouette, I felt a pang of recognition. It turned out that karma really does exist in this world. This was the first time I had embarked on a journey alone, feeling the wind of freedom, no longer bound by anyone. Looking at the lush and green forests along the way, I experienced a beauty I had never known before. Every day, I met all sorts of people, meeting, connecting, parting ways. When you reach the end, you realize that everyone in your life is just for a phase.